All right, let's get right into it. Over the next few minutes, we're going to walk through a really powerful toolkit for marketing strategy. It's called the 6 I's of e-marketing. But look, this isn't about memorizing some boring list. It's about learning to think like a real strategist. At its very heart, the big shift to digital marketing is all about this. Moving from a monologue where companies just kind of shout at you to a conversation where brands and customers can actually talk to each other. And trust me, that one simple idea changes absolutely everything.
You know, this move from a one-way speech to a two-way chat means you need a totally new way of doing things. You just can't bring the old tools to a brand new game and expect to win.
So, what's actually in this new toolkit? Let's break down the 6 key ideas that really give digital marketing its power.
Okay, here's our whole roadmap at a glance. Interactivity, intelligence, individualization, integration, industry structure, and independence of location. Let's dive into what each of these really means.
First up is interactivity. This is all about flipping the script. Instead of brands just pushing their messages out into the world, customers now actively pull the information they're looking for. They're part of the process, not just sitting back and watching.
And this is where you really see the difference. The old way, a TV ad. You blast it out and just hope something connects. The new way, a customer hopping on a chatbot to get an answer to their exact question right now. It's the difference between shouting in a crowded room and having a one-on-one chat.
Okay, on to our second I, intelligence. This is where marketing stops being a guessing game. You can go from sort of assuming what people might want to actually knowing what they're clicking on, what they're looking at, and what they're asking about. And wow, the leap in what you can learn is just massive. With a magazine ad, you get a fuzzy idea of how many people might have seen it. With an online ad, you know exactly what they clicked, how long they stayed, and, this is huge, the precise moment they got bored and left. That's not just marketing info, that's pure gold for developing your product.
And all that amazing intelligence? It leads us right into our third I, individualization. We're not just aiming for big, generic groups anymore. We can actually craft a message for one specific person. It's real, one-to-one communication.
I mean, look at the difference here. Old school marketing is like, let's target males aged 18 to 35. E-marketing targets you with an ad for the exact pair of shoes you were just looking at 5 minutes ago. One is a scattergun, the other is a laser beam.
All right, number 4 is integration. This one is all about making things easy, like really easy for the customer. It's about connecting what they see in marketing directly to an action, like buying something, without making them do any extra work.
Just think about it. You see a billboard for a new gadget. Now what? You got to remember the name, maybe find a store later, look it up online. But with e-marketing, you see an ad and you click the Buy Now button right there. The time between, oh, that's cool, and it's mine collapses from hours or days down to a single click.
Now the 5th I, industry structure. This one's a biggie. It's about how e-marketing can totally rewrite the rules for an entire industry. The magic word here is disintermediation, which is just a fancy way of saying cutting out the middleman. Think about it. Musicians can sell songs directly to you, cutting out the record label. You can book a room in someone's house, cutting out the big hotel chains. E-marketing is what makes these new ways of doing business possible.
And finally, our last tool in the box, independence of location. With digital, geography basically becomes irrelevant. Some artisan making cool stuff in a tiny village can sell to a collector in New York City. A small business in one country can have clients all over the planet. Your physical address doesn't define your market anymore. The whole world is now your potential audience.
Okay, so we've got the 6 tools, right? We've defined them, and honestly, this is where most people just stop. And that is the biggest mistake you can possibly make. Knowing the names of your tools is one thing, knowing how to actually use them is something else entirely. So here's the real question. You've got the toolkit, great. But you actually know how to apply it. Because in the real world, you don't get any points for just listing the 6 I's. You get results when you use them to solve a specific problem. So let's do a little masterclass right here, right now.
We're going to look at 3 totally different business challenges and see how a real strategist uses this toolkit or sometimes knows when not to use it.
Okay, challenge number 1. The mission is clear. Use e-marketing to grab more market share. The goal is simple: growth.
A really sharp answer here doesn't just list off the I's. No way. It suggests actions, like let's use chatbots, let's use search functions, and then it uses the framework to explain why that's a good idea. The chatbots give you interactivity. The data you get is intelligence, and that buy now link, that's perfect integration. See? The framework isn't the answer itself. It's the logic behind the answer.
Now for challenge number 2. And notice, the whole game has changed. The goal isn't to grow something, it's to evaluate something. We're trying to figure out if e-marketing is a good idea for launching a new, totally unrelated service. Now this is next-level thinking. The strategist sees the tool they could use, integration, right, to cross-promote the new thing. But then they take a step back and think critically, saying, hang on, since these businesses are so different, the benefit here might actually be tiny. That shows they're using the framework as a guide, not a rulebook.
And for our final challenge, this one's super specific. The task is to evaluate an e-marketing strategy, but, and this is the key part, only from a financial perspective.
And here it is, the masterstroke, the expert-level insight. When the job is a purely financial evaluation, you're looking at investment costs, revenue projections, that sort of thing. The 6 I's are simply the wrong tool for the job. A true strategist knows when to put the framework back in the toolbox. Trying to force it here would just be a waste of time.
So, we've gone through the theory, we've seen it in practice. What's the big takeaway here? What's the one thing you really need to walk away with?
It really boils down to this. First, context is king. The right move always depends on the specific job you're trying to do. Second, that means these frameworks are tools, not rules. They're there to help you think, not to box you in. And finally, you have to focus on application, not just definition. The real value is never in knowing the name of a concept, it's in knowing how to use it to solve a real-world problem.
And so I'll leave you with this one question to chew on. Think about your own job, your own industry. What is a so-called rule that everybody just follows without thinking that might actually just be a tool that you could maybe use in a smarter way, or maybe a tool you could choose not to use at all? Think about it.